In the golden age of the gods, when Olympus shone above the clouds and mortals still spoke face to face with divinity, there lived a man named Tantalus, king of Lydia, favored by Zeus himself. He dined at the tables of the gods, drank from their cups, and was treated as one of their own. But pride has always been the downfall of those who stand too close to greatness. Tantalus was no ordinary man. He was handsome, clever, and beloved by mortals and immortals alike. Zeus himself had invited him to feast upon Olympus, a privilege no mortal before him had known. Imagine it, golden halls stretching into the heavens, ambrosia shining like sunlight, nectar flowing like liquid fire. And there, seated beside the thrones of the gods, was Tantalus, mortal flesh among immortals. But as he ate and drank with them, something dark began to stir within him. He wondered, why should I, who am so loved by the gods, not be as great as they are? When Tantalus returned to his mortal kingdom, he carried with him secrets that no human should know. The food and drink of the gods, ambrosia and nectar, symbols of eternal life. He shared them with his friends, boasting that he had tricked Olympus itself. But that was not enough. The thrill of forbidden power was intoxicating. He began to plot a far darker act, one that would stain his name for eternity. To test the wisdom of the gods, Tantalus conceived a gruesome idea. He invited the Olympians to a feast in his golden palace. The gods, amused by his hospitality, accepted. But when they sat at the table, the food they were served was unlike anything seen before. Tender meat, rich and fragrant, yet strangely familiar. Then from among the gods, Demeter, grieving goddess of harvest, took a bite before realizing the truth. The meal was no lamb or ox. It was Pelops, Tantalus' own son, slaughtered, cooked, and served to the gods as a test. Tantalus wanted to see if the gods truly were all-knowing. The hall fell silent. Thunder rumbled across the heavens. Zeus rose from his throne in fury, his face burning like the sun. "You have mocked the divine," he thundered. The gods recoiled in disgust. Demeter wept. Hermes was sent to reassemble the child's remains. And when the pieces were gathered, the fates themselves restored Pelops to life, whole again, except for one shoulder that had been eaten by Demeter, replaced with ivory. As for Tantalus, there would be no such mercy. Zeus struck him down and cast him into Tartarus, the deepest abyss of the underworld, the realm reserved for the most wicked souls. There Tantalus was bound in eternal torment. He stood in a crystal pool of water, cool and clear. Yet whenever he bent to drink, the water receded, leaving his lips dry. Above his head hung branches heavy with fruit, figs, pears, and pomegranates shining in golden light. But when he reached up to take one, the wind would lift the branches beyond his grasp. Forever thirsty, forever hungry, forever reaching for what would always be denied. This is the curse of Tantalus, to desire eternally what he can never have. From his name came the word tantalize, to tempt with what is always out of reach. A reminder that even kings cannot feast upon the food of the gods without consequence. Tantalus' son Pelops, though restored, carried the shadow of his father's crime, and from his line would come both heroes and horrors. Atreus, Agamemnon, Orestes, all cursed by the sins of Tantalus. For in Greek myth, the crimes of the father echo through generations. So when you hear of thirst that cannot be quenched, of hunger that cannot be sated, remember Tantalus, the man who sat among the gods and dared to think himself their equal. In the end, his punishment was not just suffering, it was the eternal reminder that mortals and gods were never meant to share the same table. If you enjoyed this tale of pride and punishment, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more ancient myths brought to life. Tell me in the comments, do you think Tantalus deserved his punishment, or was it the gods who went too far?